Alrighty. Are we live on YouTube too? Amazing. Alrighty. Everybody go ahead and type in the chat if you can see me and you can hear me. And VIPs, if you can let me know, that would be super helpful. It says turn up the volume. Everybody says volume's too low. Let's get that volume up for you. Thank you greatly. Is that better? You can see me better, hear me better? Yes. Yep. Yes, indeed. Okay. Volume better. Amazing. Sounds good. Everybody let me know on YouTube as well. If you can see me, if you can hear me better, we are ready to roll for day 4 of the Digital Launch Challenge 2.0. Arguably, day 4 is going to be the best day, which just so happens to be the day that most people miss because most people can't commit to something for more than 4 days. All due respect. But if you're here, you're committed, you are ready to launch your digital product. I'm excited to see some of the digital products that come out of this event. I know that people are already creating those products as we speak, which is just awesome. I'm super excited for it. So thank you everybody on YouTube for telling me you can hear me and see me. Go ahead and type a day 4 in the chat if you are ready to go. Day 4, day 4, day 4, day 4. Day 4, love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay, so here's how this is going to work. Well, actually, let me just jump into my presentation, then you'll know all the details you need to know. So, welcome everybody, day 4. Let me fix this for you. You can all see my slides. There we go. Okay, so what I am going to teach you today applies to both people who did not watch all of the rest episodes, just as well as the ones who did watch all the other episodes. I'm going to give you today the ultimate guide to start a $373 a day business. Now, my promise to you with this challenge was to get your digital product ready to start making sales by the end of the week. And as you can see, we have people who are already smashed that goal before we have even finished the challenge. I've got emails rolling in from people saying that they are launching, they're creating products. So to all of those people, go ahead and applaud some of those people for me. Now, let me jump back here because I missed this. This is important. Okay, so today's general admission session is going to be just a little bit shorter. Not too much shorter. I still want to leave you guys with a ton of value, but it's going to be a little bit shorter. And here's why. I'm going to do a bonus session in a private Zoom link. This is a free Zoom link to join. Everybody can join. But what I'm going to do, it's going to be in a Zoom link. It's not going to be available on YouTube, not available to the public. Only the people on here live can join the session. What I'm going to do on that session is I'm going to build a digital product live in front of all of you. And then you can all ask me questions about it. So I'm just going to sit here as if I was by myself, a little bit awkward, and I'm going to use all of my normal AI tools. I'm going to use some of my own AI tools, but I'm also going to use ChatGPT, and I'm going to use a few others. And I'll tell you about all of them, and I'll speak out loud while I'm creating a digital product. Now, for some of you, you're going to think, oh man, that bonus session is going to take like 5 hours. Not true. The bonus session is going to be about 30 minutes, maybe less, maybe 20 minutes. And I'm going to build a product and even shorter than that. So we're going to literally build a digital product over the span of about 15 to 20 minutes. So it's going to be a really, really fun one. Everyone's invited. It's free to join, but you have to stay here until later where I'm going to give you the QR code to join and the link to join. So sound like a good plan? Let me know in the chat if that sounds like a really, really fun thing to do. But before that, we're going to make sure we still have an amazing general admission session to close out this challenge for everybody that's going to leave and not see the bonus session. So we're still going to make this amazing. Okay, this is going to work for you if you are a beginner and you're just getting started into this whole online business world. This session is exactly for you. This is a session for you if you already know about this world, but maybe you've tried getting into it before with no success. This session is for you. If you are already a successful individual, whether that's in your own field or in the online business space, this session is for you as well. Today, I'm going to give all of you my 3 keys to success in the new AI-driven non-expert economy that we are fast flying towards. Now, this is so that you can position yourself at the right place for this 5th wave of the digital world. And if you apply these keys in your own life, you too can create a $373 a day business that will take you from whatever situation you are right now into your calling, into your assignment, into the goals that you have set. Now, I want to be very, very clear with everybody. These 3 keys that I'll share with you today, they work for people who already have expertise in a specific area, but they also work for people working a full-time job who want to supplement their income. It's going to work for people who are looking for a career shift, and people who are still in university, people who don't have any work experience, etc. It's going to work for people in their 20s and 30s looking to start an online business. It's going to work for people in their 40s looking for a better way to pay their bills. 40s and 60s, I should say. This is going to work for people who don't currently possess any expertise or authority and people who have never made a dollar online before. Now, we have covered a lot already in this challenge. With what we've seen so far, you have all of the tools to create your own digital product 2.0 business at your disposal. And I know this to be true because I can see people creating their products already. Now, if you've gone to this point, you already understand the simple 3-step formula to make money with digital products. And that is the 3 Ds, which is develop, distribute, and deliver. Now, in case you missed that or you don't remember, it is very, very simple. Nothing happens until something is bought. And for that, you need a product. In order to have a product, you need to develop one. And that's our first step. Our second step is about forgetting the word sales, because having your product placed on the right shelves where thousands of predisposed buyers are at is much more powerful than that. It is the reason why you see cans of Coca-Cola on every single supermarket shelf, but never see them knocking at your door or calling you to sell their cans, because they do not need to, because they have distribution. Now, in our second step, we take advantage of online marketplaces to distribute our product to thousands of ideal customers so that we don't have to do any selling. And then finally, our third step is quite self-explanatory. If you have a product, it needs to be delivered. And with the way that we do it, the delivery of our digital product happens on autopilot, meaning that you can sell 10 units or 10,000 units with virtually the same effort. And with this, we have a business that is scalable. And that is our 3-step digital product formula. Now, the top of the slide's a little cut off, but that's okay. Now, during this challenge, you have also learned how we take advantage of the right AI tools to develop a product even on topics that you know nothing about. That's by formatting it as what we call a non-expert digital product. Now, let me just address something that's extremely important here. There are some people out there, maybe you've seen them, there are people out there that are trying to have this whole I got you moment, saying that this AI that I've shown you in the last 2 or 3 episodes is just some prompt on ChatGPT and you can just get it for free. Let me make something very, very clear to everybody on this live. That is the exact same thing as going to a McLaren dealership or a Rolls-Royce dealership and telling them, oh, but it's just a car and I can get the same one. I can just go get a Fiat, or I can just go get a Toyota or a Hyundai. Or a Honda, I can just get any of those. Now, surely both cars can have wheels, they can have doors, they can have a steering wheel, but are they the same thing? Are they even similar? Or do they just use the same concepts, but with completely different levels of engineering, completely different materials, completely different quality and technology? It's like saying to someone who needs to shave that they just need to find anything that cuts. Let's think of a few things you can cut here. Scissors. Would you shave with scissors? Probably not. Kitchen knife. Would you shave with a kitchen knife? Probably not. A chainsaw. Would you shave with a chainsaw? Drop a no in the comments if you can see how ridiculous these examples are. Obviously, for every single task, there's specific tools that actually do that job. Just because all of them cut does not mean that you're going to replace your razor with a kitchen knife just because you already have some of those at home. That's just like if you had a heart problem, you probably wouldn't want to have a knee surgeon taking care of your heart operation, even though both of them technically practice medicine, etc. Somebody in the VIP said, oh no. Now, this is the exact reason why what we're doing here has such a high rate of success. And it's because of the specialty of the tools that we're using to actually get the job done. After all, when your financial future is on the line, wouldn't you prefer to use the tools specifically engineered for the exact outcome that you want instead of settling for something that just happens to share a few of the surface level similarities? So all that to say, today you're going to learn the 3 keys to put all of your learning so far together so that you can kick off your $373 a day business this week already. Drop a yes in the chat if you are excited to dive in. Yes, 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 yes. Love it. Now, if you want to succeed in building a successful business in 2026, here's what you need to understand. We are heading into a completely different economy, a new non-expert AI-driven economy. What I mean by non-expert is that back in the 2010s, for the first time ever, people who were not experts in their industries started making fortunes in those industries. This is where people who don't have any expertise in the industry are earning millions selling non-expert digital products, products that don't depend on them being the face of the offer or the face of the product at all. And if you want to have an idea of how much this industry is going to grow, you can just check how much e-commerce grew in the last decade. Digital products basically followed the same trend with just a few years of delay. However, this revolution is going to be exponentially bigger because of the AI element to it. And it is during these periods of massive change that the greatest opportunities arise. The last time we saw this change so fundamental was the internet revolution. If I can take you back all the way to the early 2000s just for a second, think about what life was like before the internet. If you were driving to a place that you didn't know, you needed a physical map. If you wanted to buy something, you either had a store selling what you wanted in your city, or you just simply could not have that thing. Now, if you wanted to share a photo, you needed to go and get that film developed and then make copies manually. If you needed information, you had to go to a library. But when was the last time, I already asked you this, I think on day one, when was the last time you all went to the library to search for information? I think last time I asked this question, there was like one or two people that said they did, which is so funny. I mean, hey, you're still keeping it alive, which is great. Long time ago, so long ago. Someone said 2 days ago. There you go. You always have that person. Haven't, yes. Okay, me neither. Long, long time ago. Now, in 1995, the 5 largest companies in the world were General Electric, Exxon, AT&T, Coca-Cola, and NTT, which is a Japanese telecom. Back then, Amazon was selling books, Netflix was mailing DVDs to people's homes, and Google was operating out of a garage. Today, all of them answer 8.5 billion questions every single day. People started businesses from their garages, and we now start them from our kitchens. Now, do you know what the total value from those top 5 companies back then was? It was about $750 billion. Today, the top 5, they are all tech companies that were all born from the internet revolution. And that is Apple, that is Microsoft, that is Google, Amazon, and NVIDIA. There you go, NVIDIA. The combined value of those companies is now over $12 trillion. That is a 16x increase in wealth creation. Now, here's the kicker. The AI revolution is moving 10 times faster than the internet did. So what took Amazon 7 years to achieve, AI companies are doing in a matter of 7 months. Now, ChatGPT reached 100 million users in 2 months. It took Facebook 4.5 years to do that. If you look at NVIDIA, which is now one of the top companies in the world right now, back in June 2023, it had a market cap of less than $400 billion, which didn't even put it at the top list of the top 10 publicly traded companies. Now, in only 9 months, it went from $400 billion to $1 trillion. And then in the next 8 months, it doubled again to $2 trillion. And then in the next 3.5 months, it added a third trillion, which means they got to $3 trillion in mid-2024. The speed at which things are changing is growing exponentially. The internet democratized success. Before, for you to be successful, there were really only about 2 ways to do so. Number 1 was the old classic path that we've been told, which is go to university, get good grades, get a good job, and then climb the corporate ladder to a high-paying job. And then option number 2, or path number 2, was to try to go out on your own, start a business with no access to advertising, no outsourcing overseas. You're essentially stuck with like a very, very small customer base in your city, and the suppliers have to be there too. Meaning in both cases, it was very unlikely for regular people to make it big or even break free from that system. Now, the internet allowed this new generation of individuals in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and so on to go and start their own businesses with global reach and scaling potential out of their bedrooms or kitchens or garages. Now, AI is now accelerating this process by 10 times or 10x, and you have to be aware of that. And by the way, I'm not saying like you're going to get replaced by AI overnight or anything. That's not what I'm saying here. But there's also no guarantee that what you're doing today will still be relevant in 4 to 5 years from now. We're currently living through a time where opportunities are available and within reach for every single one of us right now. And that's all because of the power of the internet. That's why I believe that there is no better time to start an online business than right now in 2026. So if you've been thinking about it, you've been considering these ideas for a while, this is the time to stop thinking, to start taking action, because the opportunity is right in front of you. And our goal is to help you seize this opportunity, or at least to be aware of the opportunity. Now, if you want to position yourself on the winning team, what do you need to do today? Now, before I give you the answer, I want you to do something. I want you to think all the way back to our homework on episode 1. I asked you to note down your why. Now, I hope you did that, because we are here at the last day of this event. And some of you might feel like quitting. And it's especially when this happens that it is even more important for you to keep taking action. It is during these times when you might feel like leaving the session, you might feel like leaving the challenge, maybe leaving this whole digital product idea to later, maybe you'll do it later in the year, maybe I'll do it when I have more time, maybe I'll do it after the travel, and that's exactly when you need to start pushing through. Now, you must remember, why are you pushing through? And it's in those times that I want you to think all the way back to your why, all the way from episode 1, because that's going to give you the power, it's going to give you the motivation to actually keep going and be successful in this new opportunity. Moreover, the reason why I'm saying all of this is because I need your commitment. I need your commitment to taking action, especially if you don't feel ready to do it. Drop a yes in the chat if you are excited to dive in, if you're excited to launch this digital product for yourself. I was telling the VIPs earlier that after every single challenge, there are people who send me messages, they send me DMs, and they say, thank you so much for doing that challenge because I launched my digital product and this is what happened. Every single time we do one of these free ones. Now, there were a few thousand people here on day 1. If you look at the count right now, the VIPs are very committed. So there's a lot of VIPs here, but there's only about 500 people on YouTube. I believe we started at about 1,800, 2,000. That means 75% of the people did not make it to day 4. So as much as many people love this challenge, and I've even seen some of your wonderful messages in the chat, and thank you for leaving those, by the way. Like, I'm so glad you were blessed by this, but I'm also aware 75% of the people don't take action on these things. That's why we tell you to write down your why, because it keeps you moving forward. Now, let's move on here. How do you take advantage of this new AI-driven economy? What needs to be clear here is that this is a very urgent matter. Now, here's why. Just like with any big breakthrough, there is a curve of adoption. I'm going to get a little bit technical here, so I need you to brace yourself. There's a curve of adoption. Now, at first, it was very, very hard to get into this new economy. I want you to think of a computer. When the first computers were launched, you needed to know a ton about coding to interact with the computer's interface in its own language. And it was very, very hard to learn that. Now, over time, computers have become or a lot more simple to use. And that's to the point that virtually anybody was capable of using a computer. Now, this is where we currently sit in this new AI-driven non-expert economy. Here's what you need to understand. The computer did not stop evolving there. It kept evolving, and then faster than ever. Because today, you can do things with your computer that were unimaginable just a decade ago. Now, if someone who never touched a computer before were to try to learn how to do these things today, it would take them years to learn. And by the time that they finally learned, the technology would have evolved so much farther that what took them years to learn would already be outdated. And this would be to the point where they'd never be able to catch up because they lost the optimal period of adoption. And that small period in time right before the two curves cross, which is a period in time right before the two curves cross. And the curve is how easy it is to adopt a new technology. And then the other curve is how complex that technology gets over time. I hope this is making sense to some of you. Now, on the other hand, like, I'm sure many of us already see like parents, grandparents, depending on how old you are, if your parents are still here, like many of them struggle to use new technologies like ChatGPT. As easy as it is for some of us, to other people, it can be very, very complex. Like, it's scary to use new tools that come out. And so like I have grandparents that very much struggle to use phones. Some of you may have parents that struggle to use phones. Now, imagine someone, like they've been using them for decades, many of them. This is what's interesting. Like, my grandparents have had phones for like a decade now, still struggle to use them. Now, imagine someone who had never used them before. Like, that's someone who has adopted that technology far too late. Now, as the line on the chart was showing just a second ago, technology develops so quickly that there won't be the opportunity to catch up. I want you to think of surfing. This is the best example I can give you. We're going live here from Orange County, California. So what a better time to talk about surfing? I'm a big surfer myself. Okay, think of surfing. There is a moment in surfing when you see a wave forming, and that is your window to start paddling. If you can catch it at the right time, you can ride the wave and you can ride it all the way to the shore, gaining more and more momentum as you go. But if you wait too long and you only start paddling when you see everybody else paddling as well, not only are you going to miss the wave entirely, but something worse happens. By the time you start paddling, that wave is already breaking right on top of you. Instead of it riding you, or you riding it to success, you get completely crushed by it, tumbled underwater, thrown around, struggling just to get back out to the surface. Now, while everyone who caught it early, they are smoothly riding to the shore, and you are gasping for air, trying to recover. Let's catch the fifth wave, Terrence said. I love it. That is the combination of digital products and AI, and it's forming that wave right now. Now, we're at a critical moment where the wave is just forming right now. Now, here's the urgent part. That window is closing. Just like some of our parents or grandparents struggling with smartphones, despite having used computers for a decade, those who don't jump into this now will be perpetually playing catch-up. The technology curve is already accelerating. So what takes you a weekend to learn today might take newcomers months to learn next year. And by the time they learn it, we'll be onto something even more advanced. Like, if you look into things, like, it's so crazy how AI is now like a normal part of my life. I use AI every single day, multiple times a day. I probably talk to ChatGPT like, gosh, more than I talk to people. That's crazy. That's wild. Don't know if that's true. Let me fact check that one. But I use AI so much every single day, like I couldn't imagine not having it in my life. How many of you are like that with me? Like, I know probably not everybody, but I know some of you on here, like big AI people. Like, I can't, like, what did I do before ChatGPT? How on earth did I like put things together before and understand things and research things? Like, you're telling me I had to scroll through Google and YouTube to find stuff out? Oh, like, that's how crazy technology is advancing. Not only is it just getting better and better, but the rate at which it's improving is speeding up. Like, we didn't have AI a few years ago. You didn't have AI taking actions for you. Like, we were excited for an iPhone to have Touch ID or like, let alone facial ID. Like, that was so cool back then. Like, oh my goodness, you can use like your fingerprint to unlock your phone. Oh my goodness, Apple is amazing. And now you have AI just like basically taking over jobs and running whole companies. That's how wild technology is improving. It's not just improving, it's the rate at which it's improving. Now, I hope you don't hear me as some like, what's that word of people that like spread fear? Like, my goal here is not to spread fear among you and your job. My goal here is to make you aware of what's happening so that you can make the decision on it. I'm not telling you to go and quit your job. I'm not telling you to go and do something. I'm not even telling you to go start a business. What I'm saying here is that there's this opportunity here for some people. And I know for a fact that if you look back a year from now, you're going to see people who took advantage of these opportunities making money. Why? Or starting businesses and serving people, etc. Why? Because if you look back a year ago, there were opportunities to jump into. And I didn't take a hold of them, and you didn't take a hold of them, and now we can look back and see people that took a hold of those waves back then. And so all you need is some simple pattern recognition to understand when the next thing is building. Let's move on here and get a little bit back to the slides. This is your moment to paddle. This is the sweet spot where you can still easily get in, but it's early enough to ride the full wave of opportunity ahead. So I want you to drop the word ready in the chat below if you already learned the first key to success in the new economy. Ready. I love it. The first key is the right model, because although AI is indeed very, revolutionizing, it's revolutionizing this space, and it's completely changing the internet landscape. AI is not going to make money on its own. You need to plug it into a money-making model so that way you can leverage AI to actually make money, because AI does not equal money. But AI plus the right model, that's where you make money. That's where it can produce value. But AI plus the right model, let me go back here. I missed my slide. There we go. AI plus the right model equals money. AI alone does not equal money. In other words, does not equal value. I want you to think of AI like electricity. This is when, think back to when electricity was first discovered. It was revolutionary, but electricity alone, sitting in a power plant, does not make anyone money. Now, it's only when you connect it to the right appliance that it actually becomes valuable. By the way, let me pause for a second. When I say money, I mean value. I said this with the VIPs, I think. I believe, you don't have to believe this, you can steal this belief, I don't care. I believe that wealth is a byproduct of providing value to people. Maybe I said this already to the general admission people. If I said this already, you can tell me. Wealth is a byproduct of providing value to people, which means you'll never have to worry about money if all you do is worry about providing value to people. Like, I believe I was put on this earth to serve people. I believe that you can only serve somebody when that person, not only, I believe that there are levels that you cannot serve somebody without that somebody making an investment into their transformation. How many of you have met like what I would call a helpless person? I know it's a little sad, like a little rude to call them that, but like you've met somebody where you're like trying to help them, you're giving them like such good advice and such practical advice, and yet for some reason, they like will not change. They will not take the path to success. Like, for lack of better words, I would call that a helpless person. Because there are some people that you can only serve to a certain level once they've invested into that level of transformation. Okay, so I believe that I was put on the earth to serve people, to honor God and serve people. So if you agree with that statement about you're put on this earth to serve people, then providing value to people will always produce wealth. That's a principle that you can look in the Bible for. It's a principle you can look at billionaires for. Like, you don't have to be a Christian to understand that. You can look like all across the economy and you understand that providing value to people will always produce wealth, which means the only thing you have to worry about, you don't have to worry about making money. All you have to do is worry about providing value to people. Well, don't worry about it. Go do it. That's probably better. Okay. Now, let's go back to my slide here. It is only when you connect electricity to the right appliance that electricity actually becomes valuable. You could have all of the electricity in the world, but without a refrigerator to keep the food fresh, without lights to illuminate homes, without machines to actually run factories, that electricity would be completely worthless. Is this making sense? Let me know in the chat if this is making sense. Okay, because the exact same is true for AI. It's an incredibly powerful force, but like electricity, it needs to be plugged into the right appliance, into the right model to actually generate an income. Now, some people are trying to use AI like somebody trying to make money by just producing more electricity. But the real winners are those who understand that AI is the power source, not the end product. And the key is finding business models that act like those early electrical appliances, models that take advantage of AI's power to solve real problems and create value for people. The refrigerator didn't compete with electricity, it utilized it. Just like the right business model doesn't compete with AI, it leverages it. Now, when you're looking for opportunities in this new AI landscape, don't ask, how can I make money with AI? Instead, you should ask, what business model can I connect AI to that will transform that power into actual value and revenue? Because the money isn't in the AI itself, it's in the model that you plug it into. Now, how do we define what the right model is? There are two criteria that we need to pay attention to. The first one is quite self-explanatory. It needs to be a model that benefits from AI instead of getting replaced by it. When electricity was first introduced, there were two types of businesses related to lighting. Type number one was candle makers who provided light for homes and businesses. And then type number two was electrical appliance manufacturers who built lamps and other devices that used electricity. The candle makers were directly replaced by electric lighting. No matter how good their candles were, their entire business model became obsolete. But the appliance manufacturers, their business thrived because of electricity. The more homes that got electrified, the more their products were actually needed. Now, when choosing your business model in the AI era, you want to be the appliance manufacturer and not the candle maker. You want a model where AI makes you more valuable and not less valuable. For example, if you are doing basic content writing, AI might replace you. But if you're someone who is using AI to analyze market trends, to create strategic content frameworks, then all of a sudden you become more valuable because of AI. So that tool actually amplifies your capabilities rather than eliminating your role. The right model is one that grows stronger with AI and not weaker. So how do you check for that? Well, that's simple. You ask yourself, Does the advancement of AI make my business more powerful, more efficient, and more profitable? Or are you constantly looking over your shoulder, wondering if the next AI update is going to make you obsolete? Now, let's jump over here to criteria number 2. It needs to be replicable. Look, it does not matter if someone with years of experience in this industry can make that model work. That does not mean it's a good model. It's only a good model if it's one that even beginners can replicate. Think of a business model like a recipe. There are 2 types of recipes in the world. Type number 1 is the chef special that requires years of culinary training. It requires rare ingredients, requires perfect timing, and it needs artistic flair. Only a handful of master chefs can actually recreate it successfully. And then there's type number 2, which is a McDonald's Big Mac recipe. It is so precisely documented and systematized that virtually anyone, regardless of their cooking experience, can follow it and produce the exact same result every single time. I'm not suggesting Big Macs. Okay, everyone remain calm. I'm just making the point here. Now, when it comes to leveraging AI for business, you do not want the chef's special. You want the McDonald's recipe. Why? Because a truly proven model is not about what's possible for the top 1% of talented people. It's about what's replicable for the masses. McDonald's did not become a global empire because they had the world's best chefs. They succeeded because they created a system so simple and so foolproof that anybody could follow it and deliver consistent results. The same principle applies to AI-powered business models. If only tech geniuses or business veterans can make it work, it is not a real model, it's an exception. A genuinely proven model is one that can be broken down into steps so clear and so straightforward that even someone with no special skills or background can implement it successfully. This is the difference between a model that creates a few success stories and one that creates a movement. You want the model that turns AI into a plug-and-play system where anyone who follows the steps gets predictable results, just like anyone who follows a Big Mac recipe gets a Big Mac. That's why we personally consider digital products to be the perfect model to pair with AI. It's a simple 3-step process that anybody can follow, which is develop, distribute, and deliver. It does not get easier than that, and it's because it's so simple. AI can do all of the steps for you. So, and I'm going to show you this later in my bonus session. I'm going to back all this up. Don't you worry. AI can do all the steps for you. This means that even if you don't believe in your own capacity to do it, all you need to do is trust that the AI can do it for you. Now, to jump to the second key here, the second key you need is opportunity. Type in the chat opportunity for me. I know it's on the screen. The second key you need is opportunity. Most people, definitely not you, just your neighbor, most people misunderstand what opportunity actually means. Opportunity is not only about knowing about something big that's about to happen. Opportunity means having the resources that you need to take advantage of that situation or event. So my question to you now is, you know about this huge opportunity that we're currently living through, which is digital products 2.0. You know about the 5th wave of the digital world. And you know exactly how AI is going to make this wave 10 times bigger than all the other ones that came before it. Now, do you have all of the resources that you need to take advantage of this opportunity? And it's funny, whenever I ask that question, I purposefully say the word resources. Now, when I say that, like when I ask you if you have the resources that you need to take advantage of this, what's the number one thing that comes to your mind? Drop it in the chat for me. When I say when I ask you if you have the resources to take advantage of it, what's the one resource that comes to mind? Money, 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 money. Somebody said AI tools. Money, 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 money. Right, okay, like me too. That's the first thing that comes to mind as well. So, like, we're the same here. Everybody says money. I find this funny because the fact is 90% of the time, the resources that you're lacking is not money. The resources that you're lacking are the right tools, because the fact is 90% of the time what you're missing is not the resources of finances, not the resources of more money. The problem that what you're missing is, well, a few different things, and I'll talk about this. It's access, and it's the tools to actually take advantage of said opportunity. I want you to think back to what we were talking about earlier when it came to the internet revolution. We were talking about the ones who won with this revolution. Now, let's talk about the people who actually missed the opportunity when the internet revolution happened. Who are the people that missed that opportunity? If you think back to the biggest companies back then, you can take Kodak. Did they have money? They had lots of money. They had $16 billion in sales by 1996. Huge company, lots of money. Did they manage to take advantage of this whole new opportunity, the internet revolution? Absolutely not. They got completely wiped out of business. Why? They lacked the right tools to monetize digital photography. So the ones that did have all of those tools, even though they had considerably less money, they actually took their place. Now, another example here is Blockbuster. Terrence got there before I even got here. Blockbuster, there you go, it's amazing. Another example is Blockbuster. Did they have money? Insane amounts. Blockbuster had over 6,000 stores in the 2000s. Did they manage to take advantage of this new opportunity? No. They lost to Netflix, even though barely anyone knew what Netflix was back then. So as you can see, even in cases of companies that had all of the money in the world, that didn't do anything for them, meaning the problem is not the lack of money. In both of those examples, the problem was a lack of the right tools. Blockbuster lacked the tools to rent movies through the internet, and Kodak lacked the tools to manufacture digital cameras and stuck with old film cameras. Even if you think of the most basic example, like if you take a dentist who went through all of the best universities in the world, got a postgraduate, master's, etc., but he doesn't have a dentist's chair. Then you have a simple dentist who went to a university in a small city, and no one even knows the name of that university. But he has a dentist's chair, and he has all the equipment that he needs to do any sort of treatment. Like, who's going to make more money and take advantage of the best opportunities? It's going to be the one who has the chair. So the fact is this: it does not matter what you do or the size of the opportunity that you have in front of you. You are going to need the right tools to actually succeed. This is even like if you have a lemonade stand, you need to have tools, which is a lemon squeezer, in order to take advantage of it. Now, most of the time, the best opportunities out there don't require you to have money to take advantage of them, but every single one of them requires you to have the right tools. So the question that you need to ask yourself is this: what tools am I missing to take advantage of this opportunity that's in front of me right now? Now, whatever model that you decide to pick moving forward, there's something crucial that you should know. Even if you consider yourself too old to try something new, know that when you choose the right model, you are closer to success by starting from scratch in a completely new field than you are by stubbornly following the wrong path. And if you're younger, it's even better. Now, you should know that with the right model, you have the potential of achieving in just a few years what most people don't even achieve in their whole lifetime. As long as you have the third key, which is access. And this is oh so overlooked and yet so very important. This is because you can have the right model and you can even have the right opportunity, but if you don't have access, you are still completely screwed. Now, access is not just about knowing somebody, it's about having the ability to reach, use, or benefit from something that most people cannot. Now, there are three types of access that allow you to do that. First of all, access to information, access to resources, and access to people. Let's break that down. Access to information. Here's a question for you. Why do the rich get richer? It's not just because they have money. It's because they have something even more valuable, and that is information. They know exactly when a neighborhood is about to boom before the property prices go up. They know which stocks are about to explode before the news hits the public. They know which business trends are emerging before they become mainstream. And this information is most often dealt behind closed doors, in the right rooms, the right country clubs, and the right dinner tables. Just yesterday, my dad was telling me about a dinner with him. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this publicly. I hope I am. What was it? Discounted stocks or something. He was talking about how people get away with like what looks like insider trading, but it technically can't be caught. He's not doing it. He's just telling me about other people doing it. Okay, so everyone just relax here. But and maybe if you know how to do this, you can feel free to let me know. Obviously, just to be in the know, not to actually do it. There's this whole thing about insider trading. It's because the wealthy have so much information that it's not insider trading, but they just are so well connected with the wealthy people that they are able to make money off of these new opportunities. And it's not illegal because in the right congressional offices. Oh, this is getting dangerous. Okay. I'm going to move on here. No comment. Anyway, you get the point. There's information that's being passed around these wealthy people that allow them to multiply their wealth that people outside of those rooms do not have access to. Now, you may think that we live in a world where there is more information available to us than ever before, which is great, but it also causes problems. Because when you have so much information, it becomes hard to tell the difference between genuine information, misinformation, and disinformation. Did you know that for every 1 degree that an aircraft is off course, it ends up 1 mile off track per 60 miles flown? Meaning, if you miss your heading by just 3 degrees on a New York to LA flight, you do not land in LA anymore, you land in Tijuana, Mexico. That's what misinformation does. The more that you act on it, the further you get from your goals. And sadly, this happens all the time. People on social media telling you exactly what to do who have never even done something themselves. Like, that's one of the reasons I'm going to actually build a digital product live, because I want to show you, like, I can do it. What I'm teaching is something that can actually be done. I'm going to, like, every hater out there, every person that has an objection, like, respectfully, I'm just going to do it live so I can prove to you. Then nobody can say, you can't do that. Yeah, you can. Now, some of them are even weighing in on their own opinions. I already said this. Some of them are weighing in on their own opinions on the content that we are sharing with you over the last 3 days. Somebody said flex. Maybe slightly. Just maybe slightly. Now, some of these people, they're quite critical in the chat. They're quite bold, blunt, I should say, in the chat, saying that things aren't real. Now, many of these people, their intentions are good. Like, they're genuinely trying to help you, but unfortunately for many of them, their information is correct. I saw some details about WAP yesterday in the chat that, like, were completely incorrect. All due respect. And, like, you don't have to hear it from me. You can go and, like, do your own research and figure out the correct answer. You don't always have to go to me. Okay. There are people that will talk to you about what even our AI software is and what it does without having even used it. Like, I saw somebody in the chat yesterday that was like, oh, this is what AROS does. I'm like, what? I'm like, I don't think you use the software. That's not true. Now, I'm going to move on a little bit from this information. What I'm saying here is be wary of listening about money advice from people who are broke. Be wary about listening from people who have never even done that thing. There are so many, because of information is so easy to share nowadays, there are so many people talking about things that they've never even attempted. Some of them are right, shockingly enough. Many of them are very, 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 very wrong. Now, you want to know what's even worse than misinformation? That is disinformation. This is where people intentionally mislead you for their own personal benefit. Now, let me ask you, when your entire future trajectory can be thrown off course by just a single degree of misinformation, does it not make sense to seriously consider the source? I was speaking to the VIPs earlier about social media. Social media is designed to make you think that you are right, which means whether it is right or is not right, it will make you feel right. Now, the next level of access that you need is access to the right people. Have you ever noticed that all successful people always seem to have access to the exact right people to take them there, especially the most successful ones? Warren Buffett had access to Benjamin Graham, which was the father of value investing. He's the one who gave him a framework that made him billions of dollars. Steve Jobs had access to Steve Wozniak. Basically, without Wozniak, Apple would not exist. Jobs had the vision, but he needed access to someone who could build the actual product. Mark Zuckerberg had access to Sean Parker, who connected him to the right investors and helped him avoid rookie mistakes that would have killed Facebook in its early days. Jeff Bezos had access to David Shaw, which was the hedge fund manager who introduced him to the internet's potential before most people had even heard of it. Elon Musk had access to Peter Thiel and the PayPal mafia, which is what helped him fund his companies that no traditional investors were willing to invest in. After all, the truth is simple. The individuals who have access to the best opportunities, the best knowledge, and the right people are far more likely to succeed than those who do not. And trying to play against them is a losing game because the odds are stacked against you. Now, the right model with limited access, you'll make some progress, but you'll hit ceilings quickly. The right opportunity with limited access, you'll see it pass you by while others capitalize on it. But with the right access, even an average model becomes profitable. Now, even a small opportunity becomes completely life-changing because access doesn't just open doors, it builds entire highways to destinations that others cannot reach. The bottom line is this. Success is directly related to the level of access that you have. The more access, the more success. Access is the secret key to success in this new economy. So the question that I have for you is, what information do you need access to? What resources do you need access to? And what people do you need access to? The model matters, the opportunity matters, but without access, you're still on the outside looking in. And by the way, like, there are so many levels of access into something. You have access to Digital Launch that most people don't have access to, or the Digital Launch Challenge, I should say. You have access to Digital Launch Challenge for free. Most people don't have access to this. So for those people that are going to create a digital product, you had a level of access that most people did not have. Okay, so like this whole challenge is like proof of that. Now the question becomes, how do you get access to something? The truth is, there is only one answer. You have to pay for access. Now, before you jump to the next thought, you're going to pay for access with either time or with money. And paying with time almost every single time turns out to be more expensive. Paying for access with money almost always costs less than paying with your time, because time is the one resource that you can never get back. Money can be replaced, time cannot. I spent much longer with the VIPs talking about this. It could take years, if not even decades, for somebody to organically build a network that allows you to get access to very high-level individuals. Whereas on the other hand, you can literally just pay your way to instant access. And most of the time, paying for that access is far more cheap than most people realize. Now, it goes back to our point of knowing how to use your resources. Money is a resource, and smart people know how to use it to their advantage. Now, let me drop a little disclaimer here. Some people, as much as like 99% of the people on these are the most lovely, charming people that leave some of the most wonderful messages. Some people on here are like, oh, I joined a challenge and the only way for me to actually be successful is digital launch. Not true. Like, and that's coming from me. Like, I coach in digital launch. It's my program. Like, I love it. You don't need digital launch to be successful. Let me just be really, really clear on that. And the reason I don't want you thinking that is because that is you telling yourself, you're by saying that are adding a limitation to your own ability to create a digital product. Is this making sense to you? Like, I'm not telling you that digital launch is the only way for you to be successful. It's not. It is absolutely not. You could be successful without it. Which means, please kindly do not add that limitation onto yourself and build yourself your own objection that you can't be successful without this program. You absolutely can. The only reason this program is available is for people that want more tools, want more access, want more information, and more access to people. Like, that's what it's built for. It's not the determining factor for success. Liz said, thank you for your honesty. Well, appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. I want to shift gears here because I've been talking about digital products a ton over the last 4 days, and you all have listened to me very kindly. Now, how many of you, let me know in the chat, how many of you want to see me build a digital product with AI live right now? Type in the chat if that's something you want to see right now. You don't have to. It's not a requirement. Yes. Someone said, go for it, bro. Okay. Here's what's going to happen. I really don't want anyone to miss this. I want this to be really, really clear. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to open up a private Zoom link that anybody can join on this call for free. On VIPs, general admission, you can both join. It's completely free. No checkout link, okay? It's a private Zoom link. It's going to be on Zoom, so it's not open to the public, which means that I'm not sending this link to anybody outside of this Zoom. Only you get access to it. And I cannot promise you that it will be recorded and sent out just because of how valuable it is. Okay, here's what's going to happen inside of the call. I'm going to get AI to build a product in, I say 10 minutes, maybe give me 15 because I'm going to like answer questions live. Okay, so give me about 10 minutes to build a product, 15 minutes to build a product. I'm going to create an AI voiceover. So I'm not going to use my own voice, and I'm going to get AI to find me 10 profitable digital products. And who knows, if I can create a good enough product, I might even give it to somebody on the call. We'll see. No promises. We will see. Now, the final thing I'm going to do on this call as well, just to be honest with you, I'm going to open up the last few spaces to the fast track calls that I mentioned yesterday, and that's to speak with my team on digital launch. I have 10 more spaces for that. So there are a few spaces. I'm going to open them up, but I'm going to open them up in the bonus session. I'm not going to open them up here. So before I give you a link to join this call, give me a wave if you're going to join the call. If I give you the link, the QR code, like let me know in the chat. Okay, yes. Okay, amazing. Now, before I give you this link to the bonus session, there's one last thing that I need to cover, and that is your workbook password. I know some of you are not interested in the bonus session. You don't want the freebies. You don't want to watch. That's fine. I'm going to give you your workbook password now. But everybody who's going to be at the bonus session, I'll give this to you again, and I'll give you all the links that you need to access it. So for those of you that are about to join the bonus session, you don't have to worry about this part. So for everybody, your workbook password is going to be deliver. All capitals, deliver. That is the password for your workbook that's going to be available in your student portal after the session. Deliver all caps. If you don't do all caps, the password's not going to work. Super, super important. Okay, who's ready for the session? Jeremy, does the team have the links to drop? Huh? Oh, no. They have the link for the session, right? That they're going to drop. Okay, we're going to go ahead and drop the link. Go ahead and count down with me. We're going to drop the links in 5. And I'm going to be on there in like 2 minutes. I just need you to give me a minute to switch over. Okay, we're going to drop the link in 5. Count down with me in the chat. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, hang on. There we go. Okay, live bonus session. There's your link to join. I need you all to give me just a moment here to actually get into there. So once you get in there, you might be in a waiting room or something for like 2 to 5 minutes. Just give me a second. I'll be in there, and we're going to start our build out. It's going to be great. I will see all of you in there. For right now, I'm just going to turn my camera off. I'm going to leave this on the screen for you, but I'll see you inside of the bonus session. I'll build a product live. The link is in the Zoom chat if you need the link, and then it's also going to be placed inside of the YouTube description. And also in the YouTube chat. So you can click in any of those places. If you're on YouTube, you can click in the description. If you're on Zoom as a VIP, you can use the QR code, or you can click the link in the chat. Whichever you prefer, we're going to keep spamming those links there for you to join. I will see all of you inside in a moment.